What is up, Cahir Club, and welcome back to another CahirLIVE live stream. How goes it? I hope everybody's been having a great week so far. It is a Monday, which isn't a good day, but it's a day of the week all the same, and it's the first day of the week, and now it's over. That's right, the hard part, or whatever. But hello, Bruga, how goes it? I hope your week's been well. It was funny, because I sat down at my chair to set up stream, and I was like, oh, Bruga hasn't left a message in chat yet. And then I looked, did a couple of things, looked back at chat, and your message was there. I had to check the timestamp to double check I wasn't gaslighting myself into missing messages, but no. But yeah, today we're back to do a shiny hunt that I haven't done since my re-debut. Mondays, yeah. But yeah, shiny hunt I haven't done since my re-debut. Before I re-debuted, I was stalling for my model to be ready, because I didn't want to start a new series, because I wanted to re-debut sooner rather than later. But I knew if I started a new series, I'd want to finish it to wrap up everything old before going into the new. So I started a shiny hunt for Regice, which I didn't get. But now I'm back. I'm doing Regice. I want to get a shiny Regice, because shiny Regice has a really cool shiny. Yeah, we'll go with that. I don't know, I have this weird soft spot for shit shinies like Regice. I don't know why, but Gengar, Regice, Garchomp, I don't like the shiny palettes, but I like them as shinies, if that makes any sense at all. Probably not. Anyway, I say let's hop into things, because we got the Fire Emblem Engage update downloading, but other than that, I think this is the first time I've booted on my Switch since the Direct. I think that's the DLC. The DLC downloading, which I might do, some point, but yeah. We got the good old setup back up and running for some BDSP shiny hunting. Let's go. Let's go. I can earn platinum points. Holy shit. That's crazy. I'm playing Pokemon BDSP though, not platinum. Silly Nintendo Switch. Alright, yeah. Welcome to Loading Times, the stream. I forgot how bad the loading times are in this game, because they're pretty atrocious. I'm gonna keep it real with you, chat. Okay, cool. We are still here. Who's the team? That's the question. A Grey Matter. I forgot about Grey Matter. Yo. With full swipe. Do we have anyone with Thunder? No, I don't have anyone with Thunder Wave. I remember now. Oh, and Colors my Mewtwo. And we got Mr. Our Krogunk from Gala. And then our shiny Heatran we got. This was one of our first shinies in BDSP, which was very cool. Anyway, we have some Regices to soft reset for, I think. So let's get on with that, I say. Yo, someone's got good IVs. I forgot about the IV check, the IV bit. Where it zooms in on your face if the Pokemon's got good IVs. That's the signifier. That's how you know if the Pokemon's got good IVs or not. In BDSP, is if it zooms in on your face before the fight. I think that means they have at least 3 perfect IVs. And since legendaries have a guarantee to have at least 2, then a lot do have good IVs. I'm pretty sure that's how legendaries work anyway. As Pokemon slowly inched its way into becoming more competitive friendly. To the point where you can get the fucking nature mints in the main game now. I don't know, it'd be a little bit more warranted if Scarlet and Violet were a little bit harder, but they're not. Whether or not you've got, an optimal nature in the main game of Scarlet and Violet Does not matter. Like, at all. You're good with it, you're good without it. You don't need a Pokemon with a good nature to beat that game. It helps if you're doing it with only a Fuecoco, I find. In personal experience, if you're playing the game with only Fuecoco, it can help out a little bit. Just a little bit. Not that much. Just a little bit. I might do another one of those at some point. That was fun. But I already know what I'm going to play next. It's an out-the-box pick, I think. We'll see how out-the-box it is after it starts, though. Although then again, I don't know. Sometimes I think about what I'm going to do after Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. But if I lose, I think I'm going to start from the beginning again. I think I'm going to, like, redo it. You know? Even if I just, like, fall flat at Ultra Necrozma, like, I'm still gonna go at it again. Because, like, I've not reattempted a Nuzlocke since the hardcore Nuzlocke. And I don't really see much reason to not, if that makes sense. Like, what was it called? I think it was about run 3 of my X-Hardcore. Because I was re-debuting, I didn't do another one. And then the Wedlock I didn't do another one of because of Scarlet and Violet. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna put a stop at this now, for now. But I still need to, like, redo those, I think. I don't know, if I redo the Wedlock, I might change a few of the rules around, though. Because, like, I don't know. One of the parts of the Wedlock is specifically to, like, limit you into, like, using a specific team always. But, like, I feel like one of the parts about Pokemon Challenge runs is having some flexibility in how you move. And how you, like, tackle things. It's like, especially in, like, Black and White 2 Challenge mode, in how the Wedlock functions, it can be more helpful to be able to maneuver yourself a bit more. Anyway. Regice. It's funny because Regieleki and Regidraco are in Scarlet and Violet. Like, they're in the code of Scarlet and Violet. You will be able to transfer them once Pokemon Home comes out. Not the other three, though. Or Regigigas, either. Maybe Regigigas, actually? Regigigas might be. I'm not sure. I don't think it is, though. I don't think it is. But, what was it called? Regice, Regirock, and Registeel definitely aren't in the game. For whatever reason. Groudon, Kyogre, and Rayquaza are, but the Regis, no. Not them. They're not allowed. For whatever reason. Whatever reason, Game Freak said no. Even though Enamorus is in it, and so are the other 3 genies. Although, maybe on, like, online, Landorus Therian will become an issue again. Although it might not, because Intimidate only activates once, doesn't it? Like, it doesn't activate every time you switch in anymore, which is a big thing. A big nerf to it. I know Landorus Therian's got, like, a lot more advantages to it, which is why it works so well, but, like, how Intimidate worked was one of the genuine, like, most broken parts about it, right? But what was it called? Oh, you know, the thing. The thing. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see if it ends up ruling a Meta Roost again, but I don't think it'll be allowed in VGC, because generally VGC only works with Pokemon in the Dex, right? From what I remember nowadays. It has to be caught in the native... Not in the Dex, it has to be caught in the native game. you can't transfer it up, which I'm guessing is to help limit movesets. Because of course in older games you could end up getting like a lot more on specific Pokemon, like... I mean, I guess BDSP kind of limits... Not BDSP, Home now kind of limits that, because each game has its own moveset for a Pokemon. Like, Pokemon have multiple movesets. If I transfer my Krogunk into Legends Arceus, for example, it'll have a different moveset than it has in this game. For whatever reason. I don't know why that's a thing, but it is. I'm guessing this because not every move is in every game now. Which is, an interesting choice, I guess. Like, on how to do it, instead of just having the... This Pokemon can't use this move. It's not... You can't use this one. Like they did in Sword and Shield. I wonder if they're ever going to bring Hidden Power back, though. Because Hidden Power is a great coverage move. I guess maybe they deliberately got rid of it just for the thought of, like... It creates a barrier of entry for the most optimal movesets. Because often Hidden Power is like a move you want to run on offensive Pokemon, because it helps cover their weaknesses. But you need specific IVs for Hidden Power. Even after the introduction of Bottle Caps don't change your Hidden Power type. From what I remember, at least. Which means there would still be some people better because they devoted more time to grinding up a team. Or hacked in their team. Which I feel like is what a lot of this, I don't really know what word to use in regards to it, but like... How the Pokemon metagame is becoming more and more accessible every game, as they add more and more things in to, like, make any random Pokemon in your like, PC viable, you know? Like, if you catch just a fucking random-ass Esperatha in the middle of the desert with a few large candies and a lot of money, which, like, you can get those from raids easily now. A few large candies, a nature mint, some bottle caps, and, a mirror herb. You can get everything you need on it, basically. Which is, I don't know, part of me feels like it should be stuff in the post-game, that stuff. Like, especially, like, the herbs. Because, like, half the point of having natures is to make each playthrough of a game different. Obviously, like, when Pokemon was like, what if we... competitive? Maybe? Like, it kind of made specific Pokemon more optimal than others, if that makes sense. Like, there was no point in being like, oh, well, this Pokemon that's normally a physical attacker has a modest nature, which means its physical attacks aren't that good, but it's got good special attacks instead. So, I'll give it special attack. That doesn't work. Because you're going to want it to have the physical attack nature, because your opponent's probably going to give it the physical attack nature. Which, is an interesting way of things working. It's not an interesting way of things working. So that's the grinding, and now they've, like, just been... But, like, in single player, those elements work more in your favor. Like, the whole competitive mindset has given a lot of people brainworms. Like, whenever you catch a Pokemon in a Nuzlocke, like, sometimes people will just be like, what nature has it got? Oh, that's an awful nature, box it. When, like, I feel like that's not quite the way you need to view Pokemon with suboptimal natures in Nuzlockes. But, like, natures and IVs are meant to give the Pokemon more personality, you know? And multiple abilities as well. To make, like, each Pokemon different. And let it so that one person's Mudsdale may fit a different role than someone else's Mudsdale. For example, my Mudsdale is what's it called? Inner focus? It can't get confused, which isn't as good as stamina, obviously. Stamina is like an objectively better ability, but like I wouldn't say that makes Mudsdale significantly worse. It would just make... It's more that stamina makes Mudsdale like significantly better than non-stamina Mudsdale being like bad. And then if that Mudsdale with stamina was plus defense, obviously their Mudsdale might end up being like a Pokemon that they use as a tank. But like, this game copied Minecraft. Did it, Drunk Troller? Interesting. Why is that? Is it because it's green? Is it because the icon is a square? Is it because there's a trainer called Steve in it? I bet there's a trainer called Steve in this game. Is there? Like, because every game has, like, the Joey. The obligatory youngster Joey. How many Steves have there been in Pokemon? I mean, there's Steven, the champion of Hoenn. But I wouldn't really call him a Steve. You know? Although he is into rocks. Steven Stone is into rocks and stones. Which you get from mining. So Steven Stone obviously is a direct copy from Minecraft, actually. And he's a steel type trainer, like the iron tools that Steve uses. They just changed his name a little bit, so he wouldn't notice. This is the conspiracy of the century, I think. It looks like they're adding armor trims in the next update on Minecraft, which is actually pretty cool. I don't know, I've been put off server play. You're glad that we're on the same page? Yeah, no, you and me, we have a level of understanding. But yeah, like, it's cool for server play, because, like, it lets everybody have, like, that little bit of personalized vibe to their outfits now, which I think is kind of cool. But on the other side of the coin, I don't think I'm going to be playing multiplayer Minecraft for a bit, because like, so my friend group, well, I used to be a Minecraft streamer, I'm not anymore. I don't think I've streamed Minecraft in a year at this point, which is work. But yeah, after I stopped doing that, because I realized I was going to say Mumbo Jumbo, but he did do a massive bit of burnout, so maybe I am Mumbo Jumbo. Grian, we'll go with Grian. I can't kick out, like, a brand new giant Giga base every few months. I'm not built like that. Like, every server I did, I just, like, did less and less as I ran out of ideas and motivation to play. Which, is an interesting experience to have. But, all the same, now that era of my life is over, I'm back to, like, the classic, of maybe, like, once a year, maybe twice a year, if we're feeling spicy. Me and my mates would be like, Minecraft! We should make a Minecraft server! And, like, we'll invite a bunch of people to it, and we'll all play on it for about 2 weeks, and then we'll stop. Like, just the classic cycle. But, like, I realized the issue with those is, like, that 2-week cycle kind of bricks any chance you're ever going to go back to it, because it's multiplayer. Like, number one, I feel like part of the investment in a server is there are a bunch of people playing with you, you know? Like, and that part of the investment means if people stop playing, you're likely to stop playing. Simple as. Like, that's more or less what happened with me on the last server that we did. Was like a lot of people dropped off pretty quick. And then I was like, well, I'm doing this to play with a bunch of people. But there's like no one. People aren't playing as much anymore. Which kind of took the wind out of my sails. But then, like, if there was ever a point I wanted to go back to it and continue what I'd started, I can't now, because it was a paid server, which means that server doesn't exist anymore, you know? It's like, unless I asked for the world download, but then it wouldn't be a server anymore, and I feel like that would remove part of the reason. So I think next time I do Minecraft, I get, like, the urge to play Minecraft, I'm just gonna do single player. Because then if I get bored, I can come back to it in a few months and actually continue, instead of being like, fuck. I guess I'll have to round up my friends for another server we'll play for about 2 weeks. I forget that this game is Loading Screen Simulator. Like... Scarlet and Violet does the funny thing where it loads its new things too fast. Not new things. It loads things too fast, which means that you can see the cracks before they're quickly patched up. This game spends too long loading. Like... Neither are good. It's just a funny contrast. Of, like, no loading... lower loading times. But, you can see all the seams. Versus really long loading times. But if you prod at the corners for long enough, you can see the seams. I don't know, how much of that has been patched out? Because I forgot to get the Shaman and Darkrai events. Like, I can do Arceus, but that's because Arceus is, like, built in, you know? As long as you've beaten Legends Arceus, you can get Arceus in these games. Which... I can see the arguments of, like, oh, well, that's, like, pay to... Not pay to win, but, like, you have to get another game to do the initial game well. So I can see criticism of that, but, like, that means I can get Shiny Arceus, and that's pretty cool. I think that'll be a hunt I do at some point after this. And then again, I might start doing sillier hunts, like the Dunsparce. I love that guy. It's funny. People hate the Dunsparce because they see themselves in him. Everyone expected the Dunsparce to evolve into a mighty dragon, a flying serpent that everyone's like, yo, at. But instead, it was just more of Dunsparce. He didn't live up to expectations. Like Dunsparce, like the Dunsparce haters. Anyway. Alright. I just looked over at my notes, and it just says knee hurt. I mean, like, yeah, knee hurt. That's true. My knee does hurt, actually. Quite... Not, like, constantly, but, like... I bruised it the other day. But it's weird, because... I know I bruised it. I know at some point I hit my knee on something and it really hurt. I don't remember what I did. I don't remember, like, the action I took to make my knee hurt real bad. But I remember the, like, pain afterwards, me being like, ow, my knee, but I don't remember anything around that, just the pain. And now I've got a giant fucking bruise on my knee that, like, I can't remember the source of. Which, I'm not a fan of that. Why can't I remember why I bruised my knee? That's unbelievable. My small-ass brain decided that there was other information more important. Probably the fucking Burger King Whopper song. I was gonna say I have a love-hate relationship with that song. I don't. I have a hate-hate relationship with that song. But the part of my brain that likes repetitive sounds, that I can, like, hum when my head's empty, like, that part likes it. Like, I'll just be, like, zoned out. And then I'm realizing, like, I'm humming the song. But, like, I don't want to be. I don't want to hum the song. I've got better things to do with my time than hum. I clearly don't if I'm just, like, zoning out. But, it annoys me. I, myself, have become corporate propaganda. The very thing I swore to destroy. Because the Whopper song keeps getting stuck in my head. I mentioned it before, but I will mention it again. Very willingly. The fucking Burger King guys must be, like, patting themselves on the back big time for making that song. Because you cannot go anywhere without, like, a reference to it, you know? Like, at first it was just the song kept on being played everywhere, and then someone just, like, did the fucking AI voice rip of the guy, making him like, this is the burger you can fuck. You can have sex with this burger. I wonder if that guy is happy that his voice has been used for that. If he is proud. If he is content that his voice has been used to make that clip. Because I hope he is, because if he isn't, that's kind of fucked up. Like, oh, this one's got good IVs. Like, I feel like we've been in this, like, place for the past few years. The past decade. Where, like, people have become memes. You know, like, Hide the Pain Harold. I'm failing to come up with any other examples. Why would you not be proud? You make a good argument. I would be proud. But sometimes people just don't understand the intricacies of an AI voice replacement that is you just saying that you can fuck a Burger King burger. But, yeah, like, sorry, I was like, is that shiny? And I've completely erased every brainwave I've had in the past, like, 30 minutes. Like, it's always been a thing where it's like, sometimes people, like, haven't really liked becoming memes. Because, bluntly, a lot of people haven't really become memes wanting to be memes. Like, they just took a couple of awkward stock photos, or had a vaguely amusing face that got caught in public on, like, a newsreel, or someone else's YouTube video, or, like, a stranger taking a picture of them. I mean, more likely in, like, movies and stuff, but I don't know, I feel like at that point, I feel like movie actors have got to be, like, at least vaguely more accepting that, like, their content is being used in such a way. But anyway, I feel like they wouldn't be with the whole AI voice thing. Because, like, That's like a step further than pairing, like... I remember that, like, what was his name? That, like, high school yearbook photo of a guy that people, like, started putting... like, does blank, gets insert bad event. The only one I can remember is, like, goes outside, gets attacked by the shadow people. But that was made, like, 7 years after the meme died as an active satirization of it, so I don't really think it counts. But, like, I feel like there's a difference between, like... You know, let's go back to Hyde to the Main Herald. Taking, like, a stock photo and putting, like, silly text over it. And using someone else's voice to state a thing. Whether that thing be fucking a Burger King burger, or... I mean, a lot of other things, really. Like, it's going to be interesting to see how celebrities and content creators in general, honestly, end up dealing with the fact that... Because I feel like we're going to see things like Markiplier and Keanu Reeves and Josh Brolin and... what's his name? Shaggy, who's also now going to be Purple Guy. Like, the guy in the guy who played Shaggy in live action is going to be Purple Guy in the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. And I'm sorry if this is the first place you're hearing about that, but Shaggy's going to be Purple Guy. But, it's going to be interesting to see how meme culture and the general public's reaction to it is going to go forward. Now that, like, AI voices and deepfakes are becoming more of a thing. I don't know, Tom Scott released, like, a 15-minute video today, which was kind of hype, on AI, saying how we're probably at, like... There's every chance. He phrased it as more like a, we might be, but really you can't tell. We might be on, like, the precipice of a new era going forward with, like, AI. It's gonna be interesting, because, like... I feel like media, in general, has been predisposed to trying to drum up fear in the general public from AI. I guess from a fear that was already there in the first place. But I feel like, at this point, it's kind of undeniable that AI is going to become more and more of a part of, like, everyday society than some people be comfortable with. I think it's very much going to be... I wouldn't be surprised if AI going forward kind of becomes another internet, if that makes sense. Not in the way that it is the internet, but in how the internet has changed society completely in the past 20 or so years. If you don't say anything, then you probably fell asleep. Understandable. Understandable. Honestly, I'll just take that as a compliment, because I think the best kind of content is the content that if you're, like, you're tired listening to, you can just drift off to. Like, oh shit, I can't remember his name. There's, like, this one space YouTuber who just talks about space and stuff in, like, half-an-hour videos, and I think you're meant to watch them. Because, I think it's filled with, like, pretty renders of the universe and stuff. Because it's always, like, 4K at the beginning of the title. But he just talks about the universe in such an interesting way. And if I, like, can't get to sleep, I'll just put one of those on and, like, lights out, boom. It's good shit. But yeah, let me just remember where I was in the previous train of thought. Like, in the way that computers became, like, a cornerstone of our... of work. Like, you can't really find any job nowadays where there isn't, like, a computer involved at some point in the process. And especially over the past decade or so, everything that would normally be just stored on a computer has been going up into, like, the cloud. Egged on by companies like Microsoft putting Word and stuff on browser as well. To the point where, like, 50 or so years ago, I feel like written stuff would have been, like, the predominant... Yeah. No, that was the 1970s. The issue is like... I'm not sure how, like, consistent this is. I'm not sure if everybody kind of, like, clings to the same errors. But... especially with, like, how I grew up. And kind of, like, the first generation that always had, like, a phone in their pocket and stuff. I often end up witnessing, like, millennial content, which very strongly felt as if the 90s were yesterday. So I still feel like the 90s were very recent. But at this point, they were over 20 years ago. Which I'm sure any millennials listening to this would not be happy to hear. But I'm also kind of not happy to hear it. Even though, like, the 90s are a period of time that I'd never existed in. Like, I think in my heart, we're still, like, early 2010s. We're not. That is gone. But I think we're going to reach 2030, and I'm still going to be like, 2011 wasn't that long ago. And it was 19 years ago. Like, logically, I know. 2011? Ages ago. But, like, I say 2011, and I think, oh, that was kind of recent. You know? The marching of time is, an interesting concept. And it does not slow down. Oh, one thing I, like, see often referenced is a common event in people's lives seems to be remembering a day for, like, no reason. Like, when they're, like, 13, they'll just, like, look at the pavement and be like, I'm gonna remember this moment specifically for the rest of my life. I've never been able to do that. Like, the first time I saw a meme like that, I was like, oh, I want to do that, and tried it. And, like, I know I've done this. Like, I know that I thought, I should remember this moment for the rest of my life, but I can't remember any, like, specific time it's happened. Actually, don't know about this, Millennial Gen Z thing. You're 18, so you're Gen Z. That's fair. No, yeah, I'm Gen Z as well. I'm 21. But, like, my majority internet experience has been, like, very observational. Like, it's only within the past 2 years since I've started streaming that I've been having any kind of outward presence on the internet. And I just think that's because, like, as you get older, if, like, video games, movies and stuff is a thing that interests you, thanks music, you're gonna be, like, more inclined to be on the internet. And if you're on the internet, you're more likely to produce content on the internet of any kind. But I can't remember the exact point it happened. Like, obviously, like, millennials used to be, like, the rulers of the roost. So, like, a lot about them, their nostalgia, their tastes, kind of ruled the general internet observation. For example, I'm going to assume that you know a decent chunk about the Pokemon community. Right now, the, like, obsession seems to be Gen 5. Gen 5 was, like, peak Pokemon. Gen 5 was the best. Hands down, best story, best Pokemon, best characters. Everything about that generation just hit different, and Pokemon hasn't been as good since. A couple of years ago, that was Platinum. And then, kind of like 2015 time, which is when I first started experiencing Pokemon content, it was very apparently Emerald. Everybody said the same shit about Emerald. And the stereotype of a Gen 1er isn't really a thing anymore, I've noticed. But back when Auraz came out, back when X and Y were, like, decently new, there was this big concept in the Pokemon community of people who idolized Gen 1 and put it up on a pedestal, and the games have never come close to where they originally were. Because the active group, the most active group on the internet at any given time, are the ones who, I guess, write the history of the best pieces of media. Kind of like how in the early to late 2010s, it was always the 90s cartoons that were, like, idolized. Those were the best. Like, Courage the Cowardly Dog, Cat Dog. All those shows had dogs in them. But stuff like that. But, like, now, it's Phineas and Ferb, Regular Show, and Adventure Time. And it's just interesting to see how the best pieces of entertainment, quote-unquote, change as, like, a new dominant group arises. And it's going to be interesting to be on the internet to see as, like, the next generation, the next group comes into, like, dominance on the internet. Because they're going to be talking about shows and shit I've never heard of. You know? They're going to be talking about cartoons that I have no idea what are. And maybe not even cartoons, honestly. Because, like, watching TV has become less and less of a thing with, like, the advent of streaming and YouTube. It'll be interesting to see what the next generation has to say about media. Because I feel like the next generation is kind of when it starts getting to children who are raised by iPhones, if that makes sense. Because those are gonna, like... Obviously there are good parents out there from that kind of era who didn't let their children, like, have an iPad from, like, the moment they were popped out of the womb. But, the kids who were are probably going to be the most internet active ones, you know? And I'm interested to see if it's cartoon nostalgia and, like, what video games are the nostalgic ones at that point. Crossy Road, the Crossy Road meta. I feel like Crossy Road is actually a universal enough idea. When did Crossy Road come out? I used to love Crossy Road. Crossy Road was great. It's interesting that we don't see as much about apps anymore. Because, like, I'm not sure if, I'm gonna take a drink quickly, because my throat is getting dry. I'd recommend everybody else stay hydrated as well. Hydration is important. Well, but, like, I feel like I don't hear as much about apps, like, iPhone games anymore. Like, the most I see about iPhone games are, like, the very cookie-cutter ideas that seem to, like, hover around often of, you have got blank thing, and you have to get blank thing to end of path, collecting good thing in green, while avoiding bad thing in red, which will take points away from you, while the green thing gives points to you. And so I've never played any of those. I've experienced those exclusively through my ADHD brain latching onto those clips of, like, random video game with Family Guy clip at top. Like, I don't like that I watch them every time they appear on my feed, but, like, that part of my brain just can't not. And it horrifies me every time. But, like, other than that, I've not really heard that much about, like, good apps that have been made recently. I feel like all I hear about gaming at this point is consoles and stuff. It's always, like, about the new console games rather than, like, any apps. We haven't had, like, any kind of hit like the Temple Run formula in ages. Felix, hello! How goes it? It's going pretty solid over here. I'm back on with the Regice hunt after a decent chunk of break. I was talking about how, like, it feels like there haven't been any... It feels like gaming apps aren't as big of a thing as, like, they used to be. Kind of like when the App Store first started getting going. Like, it seems that all, like, mobile apps are just kind of generic cookie-cutter things in comparison to, like... When before it was like you had, like, Clash of Clans, Subway Surfers, stuff, Candy Crush, and stuff like that. And, like, nowadays I don't hear about any of that, you know? Like, none of that stuff seems to have any kind of prevalence anymore. But yeah, I hope you're doing well. I hope you've been well. Having a good start to your week. Because it do be Monday. But yeah, I wonder if there's, like, an active reason for that. Because, I mean, bluntly put, there's always been, like, that stigma around mobile gaming. Which makes me wonder if people aren't as willing to put time and effort into video games are gonna try to make it for consoles or PC instead of phones. That's true, you can't think of any recent ones. Exactly. Like, I think I've heard a bit about this Sonic one. But that's, like, mostly from Sonic fans, so that makes sense. I think, like, all I hear about, like, in terms of, like, mobile games is Clash Royale and Clash of Clans as well, by extension. Which is decently recent, to be fair. But I think Supercell kind of know what they're doing with mobile apps at this point, because they've had a lot of hits. Heheheha, exactly. Precisely that. And then, I guess, Genshin Impact, which is weird to say. It's funny that Genshin Impact, like, they've advertised it for Switch on multiple occasions. It's on mobile, not Switch. You're not doing great health-wise. Oh, that is not great at all. Hopefully... you're still doing alright, despite that. No, yeah, I'll get back on train of thought. Oh, apps. But yeah, I just wonder, like... Because, of course, as mobile gaming emerged, I feel like there was a very strong sentiment from a lot of people that mobile games aren't real games. And I wonder if people going into the gaming market kind of have that mindset. So they either don't make games for mobile, or make those incredibly generic ones. Although I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of those just, what's it called? Are just by the same company, actually. I really wouldn't be surprised, because they're just reskins of the same shit. You think Pokemon Unite was also a success? That is a good point. Pokemon Unite as well. Pokemon Unite definitely, I'd say, fits that. If we're counting stuff like Genshin. I used to play Unite still. I've not played Unite. It was funny seeing it being announced, because... It was strange. The release of Unite was strange, because they had a Pokemon Presents, and then at the end of the Pokemon Presents, they were like, we've got another big thing to announce next week. And everyone was like, oh, what's this gonna be? Clearly, if they're saving it until next week, it's gonna be a big announcement, right? And then people started, like, pulling threads from each and every direction, like, oh, if you look in the background, there are the Johto starters there, and Ho-Oh and Lugia as well. I can't remember if Ho-Oh and Lugia are also there, actually, but people started thinking, what if it's Let's Go Johto? What if we're going to get Let's Go Johto? And then all of a sudden, everyone was really hyped for a game that it sounded like everyone was dreading before that. Dreams, hello, welcome to the stream, how goes it? I hope your week's been going well so far. I'm just talking about how, the Unite reveal trailer, where everyone was expecting Let's Go Johto. I don't know, it's funny, because, like... It feels like every time there's, like, a minor Pokemon announcement, everyone's always, like, drumming up hype, and then Joe Merrick from Cerebi's always like, guys, please, don't. We always do this. It's consistent. Keep your expectations low. Don't do this again. And then everybody puts sky-high hopes anyway. Like Kalos DLC. Because, I don't know, I don't think we're gonna get Kalos in the DLC, guys. I hate to say it. I think it's fair enough to want Kalos in the DLC. I guess it's another one of those funny situations, though. Kind of like Let's Go Johto, because as I was saying, like, it felt like everybody hated Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. I think they're pretty decent. I think it's, like, nice to have a mix-up to the formula in the way they did it for once. I thought it was, like, kind of a quaint way of doing things. And... although I probably wouldn't mind if they never brought back the Pokemon Go catching style on the Switch, I think it was interesting to have it for at least one game. You have a question. Should you do your Nuzlocke in Pokemon Fire Red? I feel like Fire Red and Leaf Green are pretty similar overall, right? I don't really think it makes that much of a difference. Are there even any, like, trainer differences between them? I think it's just, like, wild Pokemon, so unless you really want, like, a Fire Red exclusive on your team. But even then, it's a Nuzlocke, so you might not get him. Should do Radical Red Nuzlocke. It depends. Nidoran's. If you want the other Nidoran, then I'd say there's no harm to swap over to Fire Red. But yeah, hello Rob, how goes it? I hope your week's been going well so far. I was, talking about how, people kept on, like, getting their hopes up for Let's Go Johto when Unite was announced. Because I just found that funny. But yeah, Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, like, they're decent games. they're, like, solid, I'd say. Not anything, like, stand out. Yeah, I wouldn't really say it's anything, stand out, but, like, overall I think they're solid enough. I think a Let's Go Johto would be an interesting concept, but I don't know. The issue is like, Let's Go Johto would always have to live up to Heart Gold Soul Silver. I don't think it could do that. So I think they should just re-release Heart Gold Soul Silver. Or, like, Golden Crystal again. Been headachy again. Oh, that is not great. That is not great. Yeah, I hope your headaches are cleared up now, though. But yeah, no, like, Heart Gold Soul Silver, like, a very, like... I was talking about this earlier, saying how the prominent generation on the internet seems to decide what the peak of Pokemon were. I feel like one thing that has kind of bypassed this is Heart Gold Soul Silver, which has a very die-hard group of people who claim it to be peak Pokemon. I wouldn't really go that far, but Heart Gold Soul Silver are very good. For everything they are, honestly. Like, I think walking alongside your Pokemon is best in Heart Gold Soul Silver and Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, where the Pokemon follow, like, close behind you. Like, there are some Pokemon that don't, like Caterpie and stuff in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, and I think that's fine, because that's funny. But the issue is in, like, Sword and Shield and BDSP, Pokemon following along behind you will follow at their own speed. Which means they, like, lag behind too much. So they're constantly, like, returning to their Pokeball and then reappearing, which kind of makes it... It's not as fun to walk with Pokemon with that kind of thing, I don't think. And I wouldn't mind them bringing back, like, the kind of Let's Go way of it happening. I like to walk with your egg. That is fair. I think eggs are always very fun to walk. You just gotta be careful of, slight drops, I find. Also, Pokewalker is, like, peak. I just got the inexplicable urge to, like, get a Pokewalker. Yeah, my Pokewalker. Get my copy of Heart Gold. Load up a Pokemon onto it. And go on a walk. Even though it's 8:30. Your Togetic. Ah, understandable. But yeah, like... If they hand it off to Ilka, if they hand the remake off to Ilka again while they focus on, like, a Legends game or something, I think Ilka are going to have to be careful, because, like... Heart Gold Soul Silver are extremely liked games. And I think it's going to be like walking through a minefield in trying to make another Johto remake after Heart Gold Soul Silver are what they are. Although I wouldn't mind Johto with a better level curve, I'm going to be completely honest. Like, Johto's a cool region. Being able to go to Kanto, pretty cool as well. It does not know how to balance a level, I don't think. I'm gonna repitch my favorite idea for a Johto remake, though. Which is, you know, like Octopath Traveler? That, but with, like, the original Crystal graphics. Yeah, like, you're level 40 to beat the Elite Four. Exactly! And there are, like, no trainers in Victory Road. Like, was there just not enough space? on, like, the original cartridge to put any trainers in Victory Road? Is that why that happened? Like, what was the motivation there? I like how they have your rival be like, yeah, I beat all the trainers here, actually. Like, why? This was an unnecessary event. This was an unnecessary thing to happen. I just wanted some more experience. Please. Please, I just want to not be that underleveled when fighting the Elite Four, please. And I feel like an experience share would probably fix that issue, I'm gonna be honest. Like, for, like, Diamond and Pearl, I think it overlevels you for the main story a little bit. But I think for, like, a Heart Gold, Soul Silver, I think it would actually keep you pretty competently leveled throughout the game. Like, there'd be points you get a little overleveled, I bet. But, like, overall... Yeah, no, I feel like things would just be fine if all they make is like a Legends game for Johto, but I feel like they're not going to do that. I think they're always going to try and pair a Legends game with a more traditional Pokemon game, because they want to like corner both ends of the market. You know what is Radical Ready? Same. It seems cool. Maybe I'll do it at some point, but I've got other things I want to do first. Still, Crystal is a fun time. Been playing through with Reina. Hell yeah. What our bad bugs got fucked in that game. Reina's only stab bug move is Fury Cutter. Yeah, I forgot how hated bug types were in early games. Like, I'm happy that Pokemon as a series has evolved to the point where bug types are actually a good type now. They're not the best type, obviously, but they're like a pretty solid type. Like, I feel like in older games, the average player might have a bug up until the second gym. Obviously some players, Rob, would take a bug type to, like, the Elite Four. But, I'm thankful that Gen 5 kind of turned around and was like, no. Bugs are cool, actually. And then we had a lovely game full of great bug types. And then Gen 6 was like, hey, we should make bugs shit again. And then they came out with Vivian. You want to get a bug starter? Oh, that would be cool. Oh, that would be really cool. Oh, now I want a bug starter. There are, like, a lot of options as well. I feel like you wouldn't want Grass Bug, though. You wouldn't want Grass Bug at all. Imagine the rival if Grass Bug was one of the starter types. Like, you pick the Fire starter, the rival is immediately never going to be a threat. Grass Bug and Fire flying. Oh no! You see, that wouldn't surprise me, because it's Game Freak going back to their fuck bugs arc. Going back to their no, I fucking hate bugs arc. Which is weirdly, oxymoronic, seeing as Pokemon as a concept stemmed from catching beetles. Electric Water, though? That would be an interesting one. As, like... It's like the hellish combination of, like... Oh, wait, no, I guess... Well, yeah, but Electric isn't weak to Bug. That's, like, the issue there. That's, like, the dilemma. Because then, you know what? Actually, no. That is a good point. Actually, it should be Water Electric. Because if it's Water Electric, that means the Grass Bug starter is even worse. And more pointless. Because, like, even the starter that you can beat, you're not, like, gonna trounce them like the other two, which means that that's just not the optimal starter. Alright. You made a trio of starters, as in, like, your own starters? Or, like, starters of other games? Mixed and matched. Which is a nice vibe. Like, I'm looking forward to the next Legends game. Specifically because it'll give us, like, a new group of starters, and I think that'll be cool. I'm interested to see, though, what, like, part of me feels like they chose the starters they did for Legends Arceus because none of them Mega Evolve, if that makes sense. Like, it feels like they're avoiding Pokemon that can Mega Evolve from giving them, like, alternate forms and stuff. Like, it feels like the first alternate forms of Pokemon that can Mega Evolve are Paradox forms. And then a couple of those even reference their Mega forms. It is peculiar to me. But, I do hope that we can grow to one day get, like, alternate versions of starters that do have Mega forms. Or maybe the next Legends game will just tiptoe around the Mega forms again and have, like, I don't know, Turtwig, Sobble, and Fennekin. Yeah. You pre-ordered Tears of the Kingdom today, and the Collector's Edition was already sold out. This game is going to be a really good seller, no matter how good it is. Like, I think this is going to be, like... I'm going to be interested to see if it beats Breath of the Wild, because obviously, like, Breath of the Wild... I guess it depends if Breath of the Wild stats are combined of Wii U and Switch. Because if the Wii U and Switch stats are combined for Breath of the Wild, then I think Breath of the Wild will probably have sold better. Because I think Breath of the Wild is still going to be a game that's bought, like, today, you know? Because it's, like, one of the Nintendo Switch games. But I think Always Round it's going to sell extremely well. I just want to see more of, like, what the actual gameplay is going to be like. Because, like, it feels like we don't know. Because there were a lot of, like, complaints about the weapon system in Breath of the Wild. And with how we've got flying machines and cars and shit that we can make in Tears of the Kingdom, that kind of gives me the vibe that they've listened to fan feedback, and a lot of the ideas in Tears of the Kingdom are going to have been informed by what a lot of people have said about Breath of the Wild. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a rain cycle if it doesn't make you slip, or makes you slip less often, or something. Everyone buys Zelda games without question, yeah. No, that's fair, and especially since it's, like, after Breath of the Wild, which, no matter your opinion of the game, is kind of inarguably one of the biggest games of the past decade. Up there with, like, Elden Ring. Arguably higher? Maybe? I don't know, Elden Ring was, like, very big and made a massive splash. So maybe not higher, but... It's always been that way since Ocarina of Time. I mean, like, I know it has, but... I feel like, especially with Breath of the Wild bursting onto the scene, it kind of, like... is, like, almost a reminder of how much of a powerhouse Zelda is. And I wouldn't be surprised if it did do better than Ocarina of Time. Because Breath of the Wild had, like, new and old fans getting it. Because, like, Breath of the Wild wasn't my first Zelda game. My first Zelda game was Link Between Worlds. But it was my first Zelda game I completed. But yeah, no, I just want to, like... I want to see how not Breath of the Wild. I want to see how Tears of the Kingdom is received before I get it, I think. Because there's this rock in my stomach I have that worries that it's never going to get out of Breath of the Wild's shadow, if that makes sense. Like, it's going to be like a brilliant game and stuff. But a lot of what it does well, Breath of the Wild does well. And it carries a lot of issues like, oh, well, there's the open world, but it doesn't add enough new stuff that makes the open world feel fresh enough, if that makes sense. It seems like it might, because it seems to have, like, changed a lot of the world. And it has got the Sky Islands and underground and stuff. But, like, Breath of the Wild's map is huge. So there have got to just be some stretches of the game that are basically identical, other than some Sky Islands in the sky. So I just hope it's not too many. And then again, like, I'm guessing they will have at least, there will at least be some massive tweaks to the weapon system, if not an entirely redone weapon system. Like, we've seen Link using shit like a soldier's broadsword and stuff, but, like, I feel like a question pretty quickly arises of, like, is it going to be like Breath of the Wild, or is it going to be like you have, like, one of each different weapon archetype on you at each time or something? You know? And I'm waiting to see that. Before I commit. Alright, I'm gonna take a drink quickly. You guys make sure you're all staying hydrated as well. Right. I'm interested to see if the rumors are right, though, and we're, like, very close to the next Nintendo console. Because, like, some people have said that apparently the Nintendo Switch is, like, gonna slow down a bit. Which probably means that we're, like, in the... would put us, like, closer towards the, like, late game era of 3DS. Well, like, 3DS did, like, remakes of, like, the, Mario and Luigi RPGs. I don't know, like, the proper name for them. And, like, not many proper new titles, mostly just, like, remakes and stuff. And then the odd game, like, what's it called? Miitopia. Which means we wouldn't have been getting a Tomodachi Life 2 on the Switch. Unless Tomodachi Life 2 is one of the remakes they bust out. Dude. Not Tomodachi Life 2. If Tomodachi Life is one of the remakes they bust out, I would kill. I would kill for a Tomodachi Life remake or sequel on the Switch. I fucking love that game so much. Legitimately, like, one of the best games. That's it. That's the sentence. And, like, I don't know, I feel like if it was on the Switch, it would just be elevated. Because I bet it would have, Miitopia levels of, like, customization. Or at least I'd hope it would. Which means that you can make your characters look even more, like, unique. And stuff. You can bring fictional characters into your islands even more so than you could before. Which was just one of the joys of the game. Just, like, watching, like, a Batman and your best friend slowly fall in love, you know? Like... I remember, in my first playthrough of Tomodachi Life, I think I got a glitch, because, like, pretty early on in the game, a character set me up with another character, like my lookalike up with another character, and and they were, like, together for my whole playthrough, basically, but they never got married. And I don't know if there was, like... You know what? No. I know that it was... I'm pretty sure it must have been a glitch or something. Like, I'd done it too early. I think they were, like, paired up before, like, a character confessed to another character, and maybe that, like, throws a spanner in the works or something. But, what's it called? I swear characters get married sometimes, even if they're not gonna be that happy with each other in the long term. Like, I'd swear that's a thing that happens often. I don't know why, things went that way on my playthrough, but it bummed me out. And then I restarted it. But yeah, I just want to know what time it actually like, man. It would be peak. Brilliant. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see. We'll just have to bide our time, hold our breath, keep our fingers crossed, and hope that we get it. Alright. We have almost gotten to 700 encounters. I'd swear we were over 1,000. I was surprised to see we weren't over 1k. But nope. We were at about 600. Alright. Oh, that's true. We're like about 2 weeks from Pokemon Day now. 2 weeks exactly. 2 weeks exactly. I probably won't do a live reaction to the live stream. Maybe. Maybe. Perhaps. We'll see. It depends on what time it is. I think I won't actually. Like, I don't know. I kind of held the same opinion of Pokemon Presents that I do, like... What was it called? Nintendo Directs. Because, like, the first, like, 10... Makes sense. You only did 2 or 3 streams of Regime. I'm gonna fact check that. Because I feel like it was more. Wait, no, I didn't get to the end of its animation. It's not shiny anyway. I didn't think it was shiny, but like I didn't want to risk it. I'm gonna pull up receipts. And by receipts I mean... No, I should pull up my channel if I'm putting up something. Because that'll tell me. That'll tell me for a fact how many I actually did. But I feel like it was a decent chunk. Okay. I need to Alright. Yeah, no, that was like a couple more than 3, I'm gonna be honest, Rob. Alright, yeah, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We had 6 Regice hunts. Which is about 100 encounters a stream. I think a couple of ones might have been shorter though. I might have done some like analysis of Pokemon Direct or something at some point. But yeah, with the Pokemon Presents, we'll see like what time it is and shit. Just like whether or not I react to it, or I think odds are what I'll do is what I did before, which is basically there'll be like the end segment when we get an announcement for like whatever is coming at the end of the year, and What's it called? What's surprising is your normal streams you were getting like 200 encounters per stream. The issue is BDSP resets are really slow. I think that's like the issue there. Like BDSP resets take a while. Because the games are very slow. I'm now starting to wonder if I like did it. And I'm actually at like a higher encounter than I thought, but like the notepad that I used to get my encounter number on is wrong. It got me checking my Discord receipts. Alright, this is debut stuff, so... Yeah, no, you're right. Apparently I was at 920. I just didn't... I just... Okay, it is 920, right? Yeah, it's 920, I think. Okay, what number did I start on again? It was about 610? Okay, my model... You know what, I'm gonna go into the be right back screen, just while I check. So I want to get an accurate amount now. I've annoyed myself in that. I was like, oh, I would have surely put it just correctly there. Okay, yeah, I started at 620, which means that I'm at 997. So that's 996 plus 1. Alright. Cool. And we're back. Can't believe I managed that. But, thank you for making me doubt myself, Rob. Because now we have the actual amount. Now we have the correct amount on screen. And that is that we're almost at 1,000 encounters. Wow, guys. Who would have guessed that we're almost at 1,000 encounters instead of 700? Do I know those Sporkle quizzes? I do not. What is a Sporkle quiz? Oh, okay, I'm now more on the same page of what a Sporkle quiz is. You named 155 out of 156 Unova Pokemon. Time to get a life? Nah. I could probably do a decent chunk of Unova Pokemon. Probably. I remember when we did one of those in, like, my maths class when I was younger. For, like, Gen 1. And I think I was, like, 14 or 15. And, I don't think I quite got them all. No, I don't think I got anywhere near them all, honestly. But I thought Miltank was Gen 1 for some reason. Well, not for some reason, because to be fair, Miltank and Tauros are always paired together. There are 2 instances where Miltank and Tauros aren't paired together. Generation 1 and Generation 9? For whatever reason? They were just like, yeah, this is Paldean Tauros. Miltank can go fuck itself. Quite proud for getting some of them, but you missed Stunfisk? Alright. Interesting. Wait, 1,000th encounter. Why did I indent it then? I indented it late. Not much to celebrate though, because this probably isn't the 1,000th. You know what? No, 1,000th encounter. This is definitely the 1,000th encounter. I've gotten nothing wrong up until this point. Red Shiny 1000? No, is it shiny? Oh my god, guys, I think it's not. It's not shiny. Anyway, in fact, now that we're at 1k, I'm gonna go to the toilet quickly. I will be right back, but make sure to stay tuned because the hunt will be continuing after. I will be right back. We are back. Back again. Tell your wives. Tell your friends. It's encounter in 1001. Which kind of looks like someone going lol. When you think about it. Don't think about it for too long though. Wouldn't recommend that. Anyway. Sorry, I'm just double checking that it fits alright. So I don't think I've been over 1,000 on this counter before. I think this counter has yet to see the number 1,000. Probably because most of my shiny hunts have been shit like Noibat. No, shit like Sword and Shield stuff. Sword and Shield stuff. I think I did a couple of what's it called? The other game. BDSP maybe? Wait, I've got my shiny hunting tab up. What? Okay, yeah, so... Yeah, no, I did 3 Noibat streams. Didn't get Noibat. And then after... After Noibat, it was Scarlet and Violet. So all my hunts took, like, no time at all because it's fucking Scarlet and Violet. Well, okay. All my hunts took no time at all except... the, egg hunts. Because they're egg hunts. And that's just how that works. But yeah. Let's continue our Regice hunt, I say. Oh yeah, we heard more stuff about the new anime series recently, didn't we? I'm interested to see how that's gonna go. Have we got it confirmed yet if the new anime series is gonna, what's it called? If the new anime series is gonna be, like, a long-running thing, like the original series, where, like, there's a new episode every week no matter what. Or are they gonna go into, like, just the regular seasonal format of, like, there'll be, like, a season a year, like in My Hero Academia? Because, I don't know, I'd be fine if that was the case. I guess it'd be leaning a lot more into the whole... serialized plot thing. I feel like a lot more episodes would be, like, dedicated to actual plot progress in that case. Instead of, like, the classic filler that most Pokemon episodes are. We've not heard much about it, to be honest. That's fair. I have heard not much about it either. But I don't know how much information there actually is out there. I think most of the information is, like, it's going to take place in Paldea. And we've got the protagonist names. I can't remember them. I think the guy's name might be Roy. But other than that, who knows? But yeah. I don't know, I think it would be cool if it was like that. Because then they'd have more time to, like, perfect the animation. Which I think would be good. Because, like, I remember, there was a lot of, like, discussion around the final big arc of the anime. Of, like, Ash fighting Leon. Because they kept, like, delaying it. Because they had to spend more time on the animation. They keep saying the girl is Ash's daughter, but I'm thinking they're huffing copium. They are huffing copium big time. There's no way she's Ash's daughter. I'ma keep it real with you, Pokemon fandom. She ain't. She's just got the clip because, like, it's iconic. It's iconic imagery, and they want to, like, lure you in. Although I think the biggest copium out there is her being Ash and Serena's daughter. Like, they brought Misty back in the anime. I hate to say it. But if she is Ash's daughter, she's Ash and Misty's daughter. I have no doubt if she's actually Ash's daughter that she'd be Ash and Misty's daughter. But I don't think she's Ash's daughter in the first place. I think she's just a new character. I'm interested to see why Rayquaza was in the reveal trailer though still. Cause like, what's up with that? Is Rayquaza actually going to be integral to the plot? Or did they just be like, Rayquaza's cool, we can recolor it to be shiny, and we can just dip that in there, yeah. Or like, is there actively going to be motivation there? Because Rayquaza has nothing to do with Paldea, as far as we know at least. So... Hoenn remake confirmed? Are we going to get a Hoenn remake? No, she's kind of got blue hair. It would be Dawn. That is a fair take. I don't know. I wonder if Serena's going to get one last appearance in the anime. Because Silent got another appearance. But Silent didn't appear in the, like, original... What's it called? Yeah, Silent didn't appear in Journeys. Jeans and shit, though, that's true. Is she wearing jeans? I don't know, I don't remember. But yeah, Silent returned. It's funny, because he returned in the same episode as Brock returned. Where Silent kind of took on the Brock role of the group. And it was nice seeing him back. Because I fucking love Silent. Silent's so cool. I love Brock, don't get me wrong, but I also love Silent. I hope that... Maybe it's already occurred, and I'm just dumb. But I hope we get to see Brock, like... swooning over Nurse Joy. Again. And Krogunk stabbing him. Because I don't know if Krogunk's made a reappearance in the series yet, but Brock has used Fortress. So, like... It's clear that, they're willing to reference newer shit. Newer bits of the anime. Although it feels like the whole thing, because Ash has been, like, rotating through an all-stars of his past teams this whole time. Which has been very fun to watch. Instead of it just being, like, his Kanto team or something, he's been rotating through, like, Pokemon from, like, start to finish of his journey. Like, a more recent episode, he had, like, Oshawott, Talonflame, and Incineroar. And Snorlax. And that was a good team, I like that team. But he's always had only 5 Pokemon on him. The Gunk can make I think the Gunk is going to make a comeback. It's just I hope the Gunk has more than one comeback, if that makes sense. Because I feel like it might just be like a Brock uses him once. But I hope it's more than once. I hope Krogunk has, like, any kind of actual presence. Being one of the coolest of Brock's Pokemon, of course. But yeah, Pokemon. How many episodes have we had of the series so far? We had the first one where Ash was alone, the second one where Ash met Misty, third one where Ash met Brock, fourth one where they were in the ice with Beartick, the fifth one now which has the Squirtle Squad in it, so I guess the next one is the 6th episode. So we're about just over halfway through Ash's final series, which is kind of whack. Like, they've said this is going to be the final bit of Ash's journey. But do you think they're going to keep up with Ash in the movies? Do you think they're going to keep up with movies at all, actually? Because there hasn't been a movie since Coco. Was it Coco? Secrets of the Jungle, I think, actually. I think Coco is its Japanese name. Yeah, there hasn't been, like, a new movie since Secrets of the Jungle. Which was... I think 2020, but I think it was meant to come out in 2019. No, it was meant to come out in 2020. But I think when it actually released was kind of dubious. I can't remember when it released. But, like, that was the last time we had an actual Pokemon movie. But now Ash is going. Like, are we going to get more? Is it going to star different characters? Is it going to star alternate universe Ash? Like, I don't know, they had that, like, one special episode where it seemed to star movie Ash on an adventure, and him and Pikachu basically met a ghost. Which was kind of depressing, like, this kid explicitly died. They didn't even dance around it. They weren't even, like... They didn't even, like, skirt around the fact that this kid was dead. They acknowledged this kid fucking died. Like, they were upfront about it. Like, people, like... TV shows are so sensitive nowadays. But, like, I feel like that would not have been a thing they did in, like, the 2000s, you know? Hell, I think that wouldn't have been a thing they did in, like, the original Pokemon anime either. Like, as in the explicit acknowledgement of death. Of death occurring. It's kind of fucked up, you know? You hope they do more like the Red Journey, to be fair. Yeah, that was a good series, actually. I like the Origin series. I need to rewatch that, actually. But, like... I mean, technically Ash died in the first movie, right? He did die in the first movie. But, like... He immediately came back after, you know? Like, he was turned to stone. On screen. So, like, that's not really like a death. That's like a child-friendly way of dying. Is being turned to stone. And while the Pokemon did cry for him, it was never like... Whoa, you died. You know? It was like, he sacrificed himself, but it was like, it was never acknowledged that it was death that he experienced, you know? Which means if, like, it felt like they were dancing around the fact he was dead, you know? It felt like there were things that they'd done to avoid having to acknowledge they just killed him. If that makes sense. Like, it feels like when a character disappears, they are A, always going to come back. And B, it's, like, never acknowledged as, like, death. But, like, in this spin-off, in this, like, little episode, in this little short, the kid died. He didn't die on the screen, to be fair. But, like, it was acknowledged that this kid was dead. And, like, Ash met the kid's parents, who were, like, intensely mourning him. And they were like, yeah, no, he died of an illness. And, like, I just wasn't expecting them to just, like, be like, yeah, no, he died. He's dead. Ash has been hanging out with a ghost this episode. They did the same thing in the Marshadow movie, too. They did the same thing in the Diancie movie, but it was Pikachu. Pikachu got turned to stone instead. They made sure to turn Pikachu to stone. It was like a plot twist. It's a curveball. You were expecting Ash to turn to stone, but no, Pikachu. Which I find funny. I feel like a lot of movies have, like, sacrifices, though, right? 3 movies? Properly stoned. Yeah, I feel like a lot of the Pokemon movies have, like, sacrifices. Like, Ash... Can't remember if there's one in 2000. Power of One. Genuinely not sure about that one. Forever is Celebi. Heroes is Latias. Don't think there's one in the Rayquaza one. Not sure if there's one in the Groudon one. Although the main villain, I'm pretty sure, got killed by Groudon. Disappeared. Being seen falling to his death, I'd assume. I can't remember if that actually happened, though. Then... in, like, I think Lugia did in 2000. Maybe? I feel like... in my gut, I can remember, like, a bunch of people being like, no, Lugia! And then Lugia comes back. But I can't remember... specifically. I've not seen it in a while. I need to rewatch it. I think I have it still? I don't know. I know I have Heroes. I think I have like a DVD with like 3 of them on. I got it from Sex. But stop the giant theme thing, it gets hit, and then they play the song and it's fine. Yeah, no, I think I remember that now. Okay, yeah, so Lugia died in 2000. I think the main antagonist died in the Groudon one, maybe, not sure. Oh, Jirachi probably did die, to be fair. And then they, like, revive it with the power of friendship. I'm changing my answer about the Groudon one. I think it's Jirachi who dies and then comes back. Then in Mystery of Mew, most of the cast die because they're killed by the tree's immune system. I want to rewatch that one. That one was a good one. And it has the Regis in it. It has the Regis in it, making the funny Regi sounds, which is wonderful. And it has Lucario eating chocolate. And seeing Lucario is like an aura dog, you probably shouldn't give it chocolate. I don't think Lucario can eat chocolate. I think Lucario is probably allergic to chocolate. You shouldn't give... Don't give your Lucarios chocolate, Pokemon trainers. It might look humanoid, but its digestive system is not. Like in Regigigas. Regigigas was not in that one. But it was in the Hoopa Clash of Ages one. And that's when it, like, dies. It's chocolate in the anime. Chocolate's in the anime. I'm pretty sure either Ash or Max feeds Lucario chocolate to befriend it. It's funny sound. It is a funny sound also. That is a good point. Okay, but yeah, then Rise of Darkrai. Oh, Deoxys probably dies in Destiny Deoxys, actually. I can't remember. Oh wait, no, there's like the defense system shit. I remember. Like the cubes that kind of overrun everything. I think that might kill someone. In like a nice little fake out death. Can't remember though. I'd seen it like once. Then we got Rise of Darkrai. Darkrai dies. Giratina and the Sky Warrior. Giratina dies. Arceus and the Jewel of Life. Arceus dies. This is like spoiler warning for all the Pokemon movies, by the way. In the Victini one, Ash and maybe also Pikachu both die, I think. 3 days later, he rose again. Nah, Shaman revives him. Oh, Arceus. Yeah, no, 3 days later he rose again. Arceus was killed by cement, I think. I think they just poured a bunch of cement on him and it killed him. Or at least that was like their plan to kill Arceus. Was just fucking smother him in cement. Just pour a bunch of cement on him. It's like, yeah, I got this plan to kill God. We pour a bunch, just a shitload of cement on him. So much fucking cement. And then what's he gonna do, huh? He's in cement. But yeah, in the Victinian Zekrom one, I can't remember what rises into space, but something rises into space, and Ash and Pikachu, if they don't die... No, you know what, I'm saying they die even if they don't actually die. They die from, like, suffocation in space. They die from not having enough oxygen. They die slow and painful deaths in space. In that one. And that's fucked up. That's probably the most fucked up one. Because that's just like they're explicitly gonna die. That's not like, oh, they were hit with like a space laser and now they have to be revived. No. Go away, advertisement! What even is this? Oh, it's fucking YouTube Premium. I hate YouTube Premium advertisements. They're like, if you don't want to see this ever again, get YouTube Premium. Like, no. I'm gonna spit at you. Anyway. I mean, I wouldn't spit at YouTube. I love YouTube. Haha, don't ban me. Haha. Anyway, turn to stone by the cold of space. I mean, that's what happened to cars. So... But I guess Ash would be better at that, because Ash wasn't thinking in the first place, so we couldn't stop. You don't see ads on your computer. Do you have AdBlock? I have AdBlock on Google, but, like, I use Firefox otherwise. So I use less RAM. But I need to get AdBlocker on Firefox. I've not done that yet. Anyway, the next one's the Keldeo one. I think the Swords of Justice die in the Keldeo one, actually. I'll use Opera GX. Maybe that's got, like, built in. Yeah, my gut's telling me it's the Swords of Justice who die in that one. Then... The one after that's the one with Mega Mewtwo and the Genesect. I wouldn't be surprised if, like, the Buddy Genesect that Ash befriends dies in that one, but I can't remember. Like, we're getting into, like, murky territory in terms of movies. Like, my, like, peak remembrance in terms of movies are, like... First movie 2000, Forever, and then the Sinnoh movies. I forgot Zoroark! I forgot Zoroark, Master of Illusion. Celebi dies in that one, I think. Again. I think Celebi dies again in that one. I'm pretty sure it does. That was a bottle which Mega Mewtwo opened. But yeah, Celebi dies again in the Zoroark one, which I missed. Forgot about the Zoroark one. Not good on my track record. I don't think there were any Unova ones I missed, though. I think I got all the Unova ones. I hate to say it, but the Unova ones were kind of mid. Which is, I guess, a good reflection of the Unova anime, but shush. Shush. Anyway, Kalos is Diancie first, in which Pikachu dies. Pikachu's turned to stone. I can't remember who dies in Hooper Clash of Ages. At all. Not Volcanion. I've not actually seen the Volcanion one. I think I watched Super Clash of Ages. I'm pretty sure I watched Super Clash of Ages, but I don't remember anything from it, except there was like a giant legendary fight at the end. I know, however, I had a dream about Hooper Clash of Ages. I dreamt about Hooper Clash of Ages, and in my dream, the climax had Arceus descending and Mega Evolving and destroying Hooper Unbound. So yeah, my dream was probably a better movie than the original. But yeah, can't remember what happened in Volcanion and the Magical Marvel. But if I had to guess... Well, no, I don't know what happened in that one because I've not seen it. If I had to guess, though, I would guess that Volcanion dies. The Volcanion's the one who dies in that one. And then it's like the new universe. Then it's like the reboot universe with like Pokemon I Choose You, in which Ash dies again, and Pikachu speaks to him. Pikachu looks him in the eyes and says, "It's because I always wanted to be with you." And everyone was like, "What the fuck? What?" I don't think I know anybody who was like, "Oh, what a heartwarming moment." Instead, everybody just reacted like, "What the fuck? Did Pikachu just speak? Did Pikachu just talk? What? What do you mean?" Then there was the Lugia one again. Oh, I don't think Lugia died in that one. I think people did die in that one. Because there was a giant fire. And my gut's telling me Zorora also probably had a near-death experience, at the least. And then is Mewtwo Strikes Back Evolution, which Ash died in again. Because it's just a retelling of the first one, beat for beat. Which means that Ash's death is kind of like cemented as a fact there. And then there's a Zarude one, which I also haven't watched. But if I had to guess, I think Zarude dies in it. That's my assumption, is that Zarude dies. Is Ash a car? Huh? What? Yes. Yeah, no, he is. Monkey. Exactly. Precisely that. But yeah, there have been no other movies since that. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it also fell for you. You meant cat. Oh, because he keeps... Maybe! Maybe he is. Or maybe it's an innate feature of characters in the Pokemon world that they all have 9 lives. Maybe that's just a thing. Ugh. Alright. I used to have a cat named Ash, though. She was cool. Blessed by Hoa, right? Sacred Ash. That's a good point. That I wouldn't be surprised. That one wouldn't surprise me at all. Huh. I hope there's like one person who clicked on my stream and saw me at like 600 encounters and was like, oh. And then they clicked on it like later on to see me in like 1,000, you know? Or Ash is in a coma. I want to put everybody who thinks that theory is real into a coma myself. You wanna know how the stream isn't getting frozen because grass is weak to ice? Because ice is a shit type, that's why. That's the answer. Or maybe it's because I used to be... Did I used to be a fire type? I don't know. Fighting, I'd say, is more on brand. Am I still a grass fighting type? I'm not sure. Fighting isn't really my bit anymore. Freeze is like a 10% chance we got lucky. That's a good point, actually. That's a good point. Anyway. Used to be fighting type, now I'm grass type. Let's say that about ice type again and there'll be consequences. What kind of consequences? Consequences solved by me having a fighting, a fire, a rock, a steel. I feel like there are more types like this week too, that I can't remember off the top of my head right now. It's weak to like half the chart at least. Right. But yeah, I don't know. Like, childhood stories where, like, adults come along and, like, the main character's in a coma. I hate those. Because there's nothing you can do to, like, disprove it. I feel like the best counter-argument to any of those arguments, actually, is, you're in a coma. You are. This is all a dream. I'm one of the doctors who's been trying to reach you for the past 15 years. Manifest in your subconscious. Just by, like, general exposure to my presence. And, wake up. And that's that if someone ever tries to convince me of that again, I'm gonna just do that. This isn't even a bad type. Defensively, yes, but offensively, it's great. It's like grass, ground, and dragon. Dragon's a good one to beat because it's dragon type. Oh, and flying. It's got a decent chunk of offensive options, but the issue is it's, like, defensive shit makes it abysmal. It's also resisted by a lot, right? At least they added, like, Snowscape improved it a decent chunk, I think. But I'm not sure if it's that viable now. I'm not sure. I've not seen, much talk about it in the meta, because everyone's been talking about Bondozo. And Fluttermane. Yeah, so a type doesn't have to be defensive to be good like the fire type. I'm trying to figure out how good fire is as a type in my head. I don't know, I feel like fire is probably on, like, one of the lower end of, like, any type ranking. Like, fire has the advantage of burn, which is one of the best status conditions. Which ice doesn't have. Ice only really has hail, which is now Snowscape. I don't get why they removed... Like, I don't get why they didn't just give, like, a bonus. Fire's a top tier type, is it? Then there's gotta be more differences between it and ice. It's more offensive, absolutely, as you say. Want to be going for that burn, exactly. Pokemon VGC type tier list. Huh, maybe it is. Oh, but this person put ice in A? Yeah, I'm not getting a general consensus of that. But yeah, fire has like a huge advantage of burn. Which basically helps it be defensive if it needs to be. And on top of that, like, what are like common types? Like, to be used against? In your bed and under your duvet? Hell yeah, comfy hours. Because, like, shit like steel is often used, isn't it? Yeah, dragon's definitely a common one, but, like, steel is, like, another very common type. And fire beats steel. Things with only one weakness, like electric and normal, are good. Okay, yeah, those two. I know water stings some use because of Dondozo and Iron Bundle. I don't know, I don't really know that much about... What's it called? The meta. I just know people don't generally think that highly of ice types. Because they tend to have a lot of weaknesses. Also, fire types are succeeding in Gen 9 because they're weathers. Oh, that's also a good point. Because they're boosted by sun. They have no competition. Like, Hail isn't good without Ninetales. Or Arctisol. Rain is struggling because IDKY. And Sandstorm IDK. I think it's, No, I got it. It's abilities. It's all down to abilities and like what Pokemon benefit from different weather effects. Like you want Swift Swimmers if rain is going to be valid in the meta. You want Slush Rushers and Snow Veil Pokemon if Hail's going to be like valid in the meta. You want like stuff like Sand Veil and such if Sandstorm's going to be valid in the meta. But in Gen 9, I don't actually know if I've double counted that. In Gen 9, you've got an entire genre of Pokemon all boosted by Drought. So if you want to use any of those, Drought is like a thing you're going to want to have around. Like, I think especially once Miraidon and Koraidon are, like, allowed in battles, they're going to rule the roost, and Drought and Electric Terrain are going to become a lot more useful. Like, I think Torkoal is going to be a massive thing in the meta. You think only Sand-like ability that makes it fast in Gen 9. It belongs to the Pokemon that's not powerful, like in Rock Midday. Yeah, exactly. Like, there aren't a lot of, like, weather benefiting Pokemon in this gen. Which, obviously hinders weather's use. Except, obviously, the Paradoxmons. Who benefit massively. Alright, I'm taking a drink quickly. You guys make sure you're all staying hydrated as well. Because hydration do be important, as they say. I say that. Okay. We've got other gens. Good enough to compete with legendaries, but Gen 8 no. Alright. Dude, fucking JoJo Lands is less than a week away. I'm so hyped. The new JoJo's design, Chef's kiss, dude. Fucking love that. I'm interested to see what his name's gonna be. Because, like, it makes sense if it's another Giorno. Because apparently, like, Araki has said on part 9, it's a story about a man who comes into... story about a boy who comes into possession of a lot of wealth. And a kind of goal like that, to me, says it's Giorno. Says that it's going to be Giorno. Some might get used a bit with Garganical, and Cleavor getting special defense buffed in Sandstorm. Yeah, no, that's a fair point. Mobile has definitely now seen, that's a good Pokemon falling down. There's even Yu, really unfortunate. Yeah, no, that's not great. Or Weavile. At least it had its time in the spotlight. But yeah. No, I'm hyped to sell for JoJo Lands. They released an interesting, poster for it. And I'm not really sure what it's trying to say, because it looks like there are a bunch of new characters in it. But also, there's, the villain from Part 8 with his stand in the corner. And I'm not sure if that's just because it's like, oh look, it's that guy. But really, do you think, Giorgio's coming back? Jojo. I think so. Because I don't think Araki would make this JoJo a parallel to Jolene. Because I think if he did that, he would make them a woman. He wouldn't take that away from the Jolene character. I think that would I think he knows that would be a misstep. And I think especially with the Part 5 anime, Giorno has become immensely popular. More popular than Jolene did from the Part 6 anime as well. Because although I love Jolene, she is my favourite JoJo hands down. The issue is, the release cycle of her anime just meant that it didn't gather as much hype as Part 5 ever did. Because Part 5, there was so much buzz around. Also, I think helped by the fact that Part 5 was an easy part to just hop onto. You didn't really need to know much about JoJo before to hop into Part 5. You didn't have to, like, binge the whole series up until that point. You could just start watching JoJo's Part 5 and understand what was going on. Which I think is a huge advantage to it. And that's why I think that this is gonna be Giorno as well, because Giorno is fresh in a lot of people's minds and is seeing a lot of popularity right now. So I definitely think that this is Giorno. This is the Steel Ball Run universe's Giorno. That's the problem. The only Pokemon whose ability is Sandstorm is Tyranitar, and Tyranitar's falling off because it's weak to one of the best Pokemon, Donphan. Ah, interesting. I like seeing how the meta interacts. But yeah, no, I hope we see Giorno back. And it looks like his stand might be November Rain, I think it's called. The song's called. Because he's on his collar it says November, quite clearly. So I feel like we know his stand name now, which is pretty exciting. I'm interested to see how he fits into it all. I think it would also make sense if it's Giorno as well, though. Because, what's it called? Apparently this is a descendant of Joseph. Araki has confirmed that this new JoJo is a descendant of Joseph. So I think it would make sense if it were Giorno, because Giorno is one of the characters with a very, like, dubious connection to the JoJo bloodline. And in the family tree that Gappy looks in Part 8, there is no other descendants of Joseph other than Holly. So this is like an illegitimate, in some way, illegitimate or erased side of the bloodline. And I feel like, obviously, Giorno can't fit into that in the way that he does in Part 5, because of specific events in Part 7, among the fact that Dio isn't a vampire who stole Jonathan's body in this part. In this timeline. Giorno's Dio's kid? I don't know, Giorno is technically Jonathan's kid biologically. Like, biologically? Like, that... He was made by Dio, but I see him more as Jonathan's kid, if that makes sense. Like, I get that, like, him being Dio's son is, like, a big part of his character, but logistically, he's Jonathan's kid. Because it was Jonathan's body that was used to make him, and he's part of the Joestar bloodline. And, again, I don't think it would make much sense to, like, I don't know how Araki's gonna do it. Especially since we've already had, like, one character who's, like, got very dubious past, who's got a very dubious past in, Josuke. In part 8. So I don't know if his is gonna be, yeah, I don't know if his is gonna be, like, more straightforward of a backstory, or what. But, I don't know. My gut's telling me that it's gonna be Giorno, but kind of like how Johnny ended up taking parts of Joseph and Jotaro into him, I think that this Giorno's gonna have parts of Jolene in him as well. If that makes sense. In, like, his character. I think this is gonna be like a part 5 and part 6 type beat. Kind of like how part 7 was kind of like part 1, 2, 3. And then part 8 was bits of part 3 and part 4. Having, like, 2 Jotaros wandering around. Don't know what's talking about. We're talking about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Peak. Fucking love JoJo's. Love me a bit of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Shit's great. You're very tired. You want to go to sleep. Understandable, Bruger. I hope you have a great night's sleep. Yeah, the new part's coming out, which is whack, because part 8 was serialized almost a decade ago at this point, to the point that it started being written soon after the earthquake in Japan, to the point that it was a key plot point in the part. I've only watched the anime, but you know bits of the games. That's fair. I'd recommend reading the manga. The manga is really good. And especially since the anime is like... Especially since like the first bit of the story has been told in the anime, I'd say now's like the perfect time to hop onto the manga. And read the manga. Because it's like... Part 7 is basically a new story. It's like a soft reboot of the franchise. Hard reboot of the franchise. I don't know what to call it, because on one hand it reboots the franchise, but on the other hand it is still part 7. It's not like JoJo's from the start. It's like... It's weird. But it's also really good. I don't know, I get why everyone gasses up part 7, but I think part 8 is a bit of a weaker part. I just hope that, whoever this new JoJo is, he doesn't get a late game power-up. I want another part where we don't get a late game power-up again. If you can, you've got a manga shop in town. You can pick them up, but the complete books are expensive. Yarr. Yarr. If that's not something you're on board with, then fair enough, but I could help. I don't know, I'm a little bit too willing to. Maybe? I don't know. Like, in some ways, maybe. But in other ways, streaming services fucking suck. Like, it was good at first. I'll give them that. But, like, nowadays streaming services are just trash, dude. Like, in my household, we've got Netflix and Amazon Prime. And we've got Amazon Prime more because of the delivery options than, like, the service. Like, Amazon Prime... I'd say Amazon Prime is, like, one service that I'd say is reasonable for people to also have on top of, like, another one, because you have more benefits than just, like, Amazon Prime TV. Like, inherently in it. Like, Amazon Prime, I'd say, is probably one of the better deals of a streaming service, because you also have one-day delivery on Amazon. But, like, fucking Netflix, Disney Plus, it pisses me off so much, because HBO Max, I don't know if Paramount Plus is in the UK. I've seen advertisements for Paramount Plus, actually, so I think it might be. But, like, HBO Max and shit, all that shit just isn't available over here. Which means that, like, if you want to watch the show everyone's talking about, you have to scout high and low to figure out where the fuck it is. Like, it might be on Now TV, it might be on Sky, it might be on Amazon Prime, it might be on, like, all four. To be fair, though, a lot of Britain stuff is a little bit more decent, because it's all tied into TV license, which isn't that great, because TV licenses is a scam, but, like, what was it called? It means you have access to a lot of, like, what would be streaming services, just because a lot of these things have... A lot of channels have, like, their online watch services. So it's good because you can, like, get... This is, like, one of those moments where I'm, like... The shiny sparkle is after it comes in, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. They don't have a TV license. But you don't use that shit. Yeah, no, that's, like, the issue. Is, like, when I move out, I'm probably not gonna get a TV license, obviously. Because any TVs in the house will probably just be used for, like... You'll probably just use, like, consoles and shit to, like, access streaming services and, YouTube. And nothing else. Anyway, but, like, it's just a benefit. Like, at least it's a benefit because, like, Americans have to, like, pay, like, loads to access all the, streaming services. Not breaking laws, are you? Why would I break any laws, Finicky? When have I ever broken any laws? I wouldn't break any laws, I'm just a little guy. I'm just a silly little guy. Why would I break any laws, you know? When has a silly little guy ever broken any laws? That just hasn't happened. I am a very law-abiding citizen. I love abiding by the law so much. Anyway, welcome to the stream. How goes it? I hope your week is going well so far, because it is Monday. Which means Gandalf gets a graham cracker. It is one of her favourite activities. Now, you don't normally watch anything on BBC, or any of the normal channels. Streaming services and YouTube are the only thing for you. That's fair. Like... I still live with my dad. He's got Sky. So... Yes, hello, it is Monday. It is. It's kind of whack. Feels like it was Monday only 7 days ago. And tomorrow's Valentine's Day. Wow. Maybe I should do a singles-only Valentine's Day stream. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna relish in my relaxation time because I streamed 2 days in a row. And I don't know why. But I'm kind of tired at the moment, so that's an impressive thing for me. I almost didn't stream yesterday. But I was like, I'll stream only until 10. I was like, no, yeah, that sounds like a good deal. So there was a stream yesterday. Not sure if you noticed. Right, I'm gonna take a drink quickly. Alright. What is that emote? Face Tuck was drinking coffee. Ah. You see, I'm not drinking coffee, though. Because, does coffee hydrate? I feel like coffee doesn't hydrate. I don't know. I, as a person, haven't really had much caffeine in my life. I had coffee once, and I was like, I don't like that this much. I don't like it that much, and haven't tried it since. But, like, my friend pointed out to me that, like, ADHD is, like, actively, like, reacts with caffeine weirdly to the point where it can be used as, like, a sedative, you know? I could drink, like, coffee and I'd go to sleep, maybe. But I've never tried it, so I don't know if that would happen or not. Like, there's a chance that it would conk me out. I maybe need to try coffee more. Not doing anything for Valentine's. To take your girlfriend to a Michelin-starred Chinese on Saturday. Yo, I hope you had fun. Nah, dehydrates. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I don't know, I find it funny when people, like, make coffee a large part of their personality. I, like, scoured the internet when my nephew was born for, like, a baby jumpsuit with, like, don't talk to me till I've had my coffee on it. Just because I just found that dumb. But I couldn't find anything that was that good. I just find it funny how, like, a lot of people, like, base a lot of their, like, personality around the fact that they have to have coffee in the morning, otherwise they'll be really crabby, like... My brother in Christ, we are all victims of capitalism. It was tasty, but you could introduce me to some decent coffee. I don't know, I'm not sure if I'm gonna become a coffee drinker anytime soon. If I do, I'll probably just take some of my, like, dad's instant coffee. He's got, like, a coffee machine. It is funny, and it also scares you. That's fair. That's more or less me as well. Like, I don't know, at least the British obsession with tea isn't like, if I haven't had my tea, I might stab you, you know? Like, that's not a thing, like... It's a thing some British people have said, probably, but, like... Less because they actively rely on some of the chemicals in tea to get them through the day, you know? Although Monster's a thing I haven't ever tried before as well. I need to try a Monster someday. I probably don't, but, like, I wanna. What's that coming over the hill? Is it a monster? I just remembered Hexbugs. Have to admit, you like coffee a lot, but you get heart palpitations from too much, so keep it down. Oh no. Understandable. I'm not slating people who like coffee, to be clear. Like, I want to be blunt. Like, if you drink coffee, that's fine. I'm not slating that. What I'm slating is people who, like, make drinking coffee a cornerstone of their personality. I feel like this isn't as big of a thing. I think it was more like a millennials about 7 years ago thing. Which is kind of funny because I was talking earlier on in the stream about how, like, shit shifts as it goes along. But, like, what was it called? If you drink coffee, that's fine. I'm not going to slate that because it does help keep you awake. I just mean people who are, like, really crabby and overly reliant on it. and act like it's a large portion of their personality. Kind of like Disney adults. Maybe that's where the coffee drinkers went. To Disney World. Like, there's videos where it's like, our first time visiting Disney World since COVID, and they're like crying upon seeing the castle. Like, wow, look. Look, everybody, victims of capitalism. I say playing the latest Pokemon. Well, this isn't the latest Pokemon game. I say playing Pokemon games. Monsters scare you. So much. Like, why are their cans so aggressive? Wait. No, I'm trying to think. So I remember that one thing where, like, there's that lady, and she's, like, talking about Monster, and she, like, turns the can upside down, and she's like, look, it's the symbol of Satan, or something like that. Which I find hilarious. You think you would have a heart attack if you drank a Monster? That doesn't sound that fun. May I recommend not drinking any Monsters? That's my professional opinion. Only if you drank like 1,000. I know what I'm doing next Saturday, am I right, lads? Hey! Monster overdose. Nah, the only thing I want is a coffee overdose. Am I right, guys? Don't speak to me until I've had my coffee or I'll eat your face. Am I right? And other healthy things to do and feel. Anyway, guys. Although not at the same time. If you had like 6 or 7 in a row, then you might. Interesting. What if I put them all into like a big bottle and like chugged it? You know, like sometimes you see people like having like a whole glass of like beer and they just drink the whole thing down real quick. What if I did that, but with like a gallon of Monster? Do you think I'd be able to see shrimp colors? Do you think I could take a step and, like, be at my destination? Depends on how fit you are. You'd probably go into shock. Oh, God. No, I've been shocked before. It's fine. I was pretty shocked the other day. Because I saw a beetle, and I was like, whoa, beetle. Beetles are so loud. What's up with that? Like, I feel like it's easy to forget how loud beetles are. Like, sometimes, like, you're just vibing and you hear, like, a fucking helicopter and you're like, whoa, what's that? And then actually it's just a beetle and it's really fucking loud, you know? I'm looking forward to summer so we get some loud beetles again. Beetle the Bug, Pete. Love those guys. Their sounds, I'd listen to all night. The Beatles, the band, shit. Awful. Wouldn't listen to their music if forced to. Yeah, Ringo Starr is pretty noisy. Boo! Fuck the Beatles. I don't even know where this sentiment came from. Do you think in like 30 or so years or some shit, like, One Direction is gonna be, like, hated upon like the Beatles is? Like, in the sense that, like, One Direction was, like, hated at the time. But One Direction was hated at the time because it was, like, everyone viewed it as, like, oh, teenage girls like this, that means it's bad. But, like, I feel like the Beatles hate nowadays, because everybody's like, whoa, it's a classic. I'm gonna be contrarian, you know? I don't know, I feel like it's more like just meme culture is pretending to hate the Beatles more than the Beatles are actually hated, you know? Like, I don't think anybody actively dislikes the Beatles to, like, any degree of, like, sincerity. I just think it's because, like, they're an appreciated band, and sometimes it's funny to, like, point at a random thing and be like, I hate that. You know? I think the Beatles is, like, a big thing of that. I think Ed Sheeran also manages to be that, but, like, I don't really get why Ed Sheeran, like... Because Ed Sheeran's, like, a modern artist. I know I do the Ed Sheeran hate train a lot, but, like... I don't fully understand where it comes from. Your girlfriend doesn't like them. You, however, you just don't really care. That's understandable. Yeah, no, I just see a lot of memes hating on the Beatles a lot. And I join in because I find it funny. Like, hating on random bands, I think, is better than hating on, like, random countries or US states. I think that's a lot better humor. Like, fucking random attacks on Ohio. Or, what's it called? Random Eastern European countries. I don't know. The Ohio thing just got old quick. Like, I appreciate the fact that, like, they're taking the piss out of British people. I have, a foot in that pool. So, like, it makes sense why, like, it kind of annoyed me. Because I was constantly parroted around. But, like, I feel like while the British hate shit is still kind of, like, floating around a little bit, like, it's kind of spun onto Ohio. But, like, the Ohio memes are just so unfunny. Because it's always just, like, picture of, like, random weird thing, and everyone's like, oh, average in Ohio, oh, that's Ohio, look at it, it's, oh, that's Ohio, and it's like, okay. Is that the joke? Is that what I'm meant to be laughing at, or can we just move on with our lives? The issue is just kind of got to that point where, like, children are hearing about it, and they don't really know how to structure comedy, so they just write Ohio at random things. The Ohio memes seem to have turned from hatred to a strange fascination that is unfounded. That's fair. Like, I appreciate a fascination with Ohio in the sense that Scott the Woz lives there, because I love that guy. If one day I collab with Scott the Woz, no, I've made it. No, I've made it. Scott the Woz. I love that guy. My idol. I want to be Scott the Woz. Not in, like, a metaphorical, literally. I want to be Scott the Woz, literally. Anyway, but that's why I like Ohio, because Scott the Woz is from there, you know? Just, like, that, like, when someone, like, famous is from a specific place, you kind of got to respect it, you know? When someone influential. And Scott the Woz from Ohio. But overall, I don't really get the memes. Like, it's unfortunate he hates Pokemon and Fire Emblem. It is, kind of, isn't it? That's a good point. I didn't consider that. Just like, especially with my, like, home screen. Let me get the next encounter, because I'll be going to my home screen anyway. I just want to check, because, like, the only game on my home screen that isn't, like, on my Switch home screen that probably isn't Pokemon or Fire Emblem might be the Tokyo 2020 game. Oh, Mario Kart might be on there. Okay, Mario Kart's on there. But we've got Pokemon, Fire Emblem, Pokemon, Mario Kart, Fire Emblem, Breath of the Wild, Pokemon, Tokyo, Pokemon, Pokemon, RPG, Pokemon. Yeah, I think Zelda and Mario Kart are probably the only two games on my home thing that Scott the Woz might like. That Scott the Woz might be interested in. But he's got good videos. I'd recommend Scott the Woz as a content creator. He was on the Chuckle Sandwich podcast, which is pretty cool. Vsauce Michael was on William Osman's podcast, which surprised me. Like, I don't know, William Osman and Vsauce Michael are kind of like, I'd group them in like a similar bubble of like the YouTube sphere, but like I never would have expected them to do things together. I think that was also a podcast that had Tom Scott on it. Yeah, no, William Osman's podcast consistently gets like such obscure people on it that I'd want to see on a podcast. You know? Like, so, people who like you'd want to see on a podcast. Like, it's impressive. It's actively impressive. Like, Niall Red is on that, like, panel as well, in that group. Which is another YouTuber who you'd want to see on a podcast. And he's, like, one of the main guys in it, you know? It's fucking whack. William Osman is, like, definitely one of the better YouTubers, I think. You have nightmares of him coming out of the bath. I have different kinds of dreams about Vsauce Michael coming out the bath. Anyway, yeah, like, one thing I like about content creation at, like, in 2020, like, I don't know, part of me is worried that content creation has, like, a time limit and shit. Like, I'm interested with the advent of AI, if, like, AIs are gonna start, like, entering people's chats, you know? If it's gonna get to the point where, like, AIs are in people's chats. Which, would be interesting. I don't know if it'd be, like, the end of content creation in general, but, like, I think it'd be a massive shift in what good content means, if that makes sense. Like, I don't think it'd be death of content creation, but I think when AI starts to, like, I think that there's gonna come a day when those fucking Reddit TikTok videos start to become AI generated. And I'm gonna be blunt, there's every chance that some of them already are. Like, part of me really wants to make a new TikTok account with, like, stock footage of some shit. I don't know, maybe me shiny hunting in BDSP. Because I've always thought shiny hunting would be, like, an interesting... I guess shiny hunting isn't that focus-onable, though. As, like, Minecraft parkour or Subway Surfers. I'm good at Subway Surfers, though, to be fair. I could get, like, a good streak on Subway Surfers to, like, put in the background of, like, a Reddit video. But, like, not a Reddit video. Like, a ChatGPT generation of an Am I the Arsehole post. You know? Because I could just keep on doing that. And I'd have an infinite amount, so I wouldn't have to browse Reddit for a second. And I wonder if that's already a thing. Because I think it would be easy as hell to, like, set up a thing like that, you know? And I just wonder if it's already there. We just don't know. Because, like, I think there will come a point where AI content starts becoming more and more of a thing. I mean, there's already an AI VTuber. I'm being replaced. My job's being stolen by AI. Mine. My job. Which I guess is funny because it's kind of like a step backwards. Because it was like anime. Like, okay, no, let's... Anime waifus. Anime waifus, but there's like someone behind the anime waifu who will actively acknowledge you. So they will actively acknowledge you in your existence. Anime waifu, but there's an AI behind the anime waifu who will actively acknowledge your existence. Like, it's like a step back towards the waifu who can't love you back thing, you know? Not that VTubers will ever love you back, to be clear. Don't go into a VTuber stream expecting any kind of relationship with the VTuber. Don't do that. That's fucking weird. I'd be surprised. I mean, yeah, no, I guess it'd be hard to tell. I mean, people are already acting like AI with the amount of thoughts you see. Some people put into original content. So an AI could certainly do it. Maybe I just get... No, I want to play games I want to. That's like my streaming ethos. I wonder if I need like a better streaming ethos, but I just basically like stream things and challenges and games that I feel like streaming. That's how I roll. Like, I feel like maybe I should take what other people want to see me do more into account. But by the same token, I kind of don't want to do that. It's my toxic trait. I don't want to take suggestions. I don't want to take ideas. I don't want people to give me ideas. I feel bad about it sometimes, but like... Don't change what you're doing. You're putting your soul into it. It was more important within reason. I mean, yeah, no, I don't think I will anytime soon. I mean, what do they do? Create an AI conversation script. Get a Microsoft Sam voice reader thing. And then put it behind a jiggling model? As in the AI streamer? I don't know exactly how it works, to be honest. I'm guessing the AI even plays the video games, honestly. I mean, I assume it does video games. That's kind of like what a streamer does nowadays. Just play video games. Like, even like if a streamer isn't really known for playing video games, they still play video games. That's just kind of how it be. But, I don't think they, like, create the AI conversation script first. I think the AI is actively generating the conversation as the stream is going on. I'm not sure if it, like, picks random comments that the AI thinks is interesting to comment on or what. But, like... I've not seen much of it, to be fair. I just know it's there. The part of me that's very bad at actively seeking content out comes into full display here. I was like, I know this thing exists, because I've seen people talking about it, but I've not watched a streamer of it or anything. Because I need to watch more live streams. That's a thing I need to do. But if I start to watch more live streams, I'd say I shouldn't start to watch AI live streams, I should start to watch, like, other people's live streams. Actual people's live streams. But yeah, anyway. I don't know, I was talking about it earlier, but it's going to be interesting to see how... Because I wouldn't be surprised if AI revolutionizes jobs like the internet did, you know? So I got really distracted by my shirt on the camera. But like the internet completely revolutionized jobs. And it actively removed some jobs as well. And I think AI is going to have the exact same impact if it keeps on going. Like, some people are looking at it more optimistically, like, oh, it could be a tool to help jobs. But I think it's actively going to be a tool that dismantles some jobs. I think it's not going to be too long till we see, like, By too long, I mean on like a just general scale. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of the decade, we have an AI movie script. Whether it's an indie movie or like an actually like a big blockbuster film with an AI script. I think we're going to have an AI script at some point. I think AI-generated content is going to start to become a thing. And it's going to be interesting to see if how much weight people put on that in comparison to actual human-made content. Because human-made content will always be so much more deep. Hopefully you can retire them before AI. Or AI can totally do testing. That's a good point. That's a good point. But yeah, that's exactly what I like mean. Like, I think that there are some jobs that AI will be able to do and it will actively take people's jobs, which is, I guess, exactly what people are worrying, that machines are going to take jobs, but like, machines have already been taking jobs. Bluntly put. Hopefully, you can keep your job for a lot longer. And AI won't. Because, like, I think... I'm interested in how gradual of a change it'll be. Because I feel like it could just be one of those changes that's actually pretty quick. But I guess we can only wait and see. Because, I mean, yeah, basically there was a Tom Scott video today that was talking about this. And one thing he said was, we don't know how far AI is to, like, its climax. Like, we don't know how long it is until AI reaches as far as it'll go for now. Like, it might be constantly being, like, evolving and upgrading. But for all we know, it's almost hit its, like, climax. It's almost hit its peak, and all it'll ever be is, like, a tool to help people. By giving them, like, a rough template. For example, some people are starting to use AI to write professional professional emails and stuff. I have a mate who used it to write his CV. I might do the same. Shit like that. It helping you to do shit like that. I'm interested to see if it could end up going further than that or not, though. But I think one thing will be clear after, like, if AI does ever get to, like, that big of a point, and there'll be a massive debate of human versus AI content. And one thing that will always be said is AI content never has soul. I'm betting on this. There'll be an argument over, like, which is better, and the argument against AI will be it's so clear when an AI does something, because it just feels uncanny, and doesn't have that level of depth that anything made by a human can. Alright, I'm gonna take a drink quickly. Alright. Yeah, I don't think we have much longer left to stream. Or maybe you can link me to the CV thing. You need to write one soon for promotion to principal test engineer. I think it's just ChatGPT that people were using. And basically they just write me a CV and then put in their credentials. And it forms it all into a CV for you. I'll double check with my mate how he did it, because I do need to do that, to be fair. But I think it was just a regular chatbot that he did it with. Because, like, that's the point is that, because, like, you can basically just go to ChatGPT for stuff like that now. I think it might... I'm not sure if it does cost a bit of money, honestly. I'm not sure at all. But yeah. It seems like it could be useful shit, but, like, the worry is if it's too useful. It'll be interesting to see how much people accept AI if it does start to become more of a prominent thing, though. Because, like, the media seems intent on making people scared of AI, like, over the past few decades. It seems like the narrative is always, AI is bad and it's trying to take over the world. And if AI starts taking people's jobs, that is going to be people's exact sentiment, you know? It's going to be interesting to see people's opinions of it as it goes forward, because I'm trying to think of a way to put this. Right-wing people are often very resistant to change and such, but I feel like they can also be, like, pretty intent on following, like, what higher-ups, what, like, politicians say and stuff. In fact, I think everybody kind of does that to an extent. But I think left-wing, on the other hand, kind of values people's input, you know? Values human life and what they do. So, I feel like there's every chance that every person of the general populace is going to be staunchly against AI, but a lot of higher-ups and stuff, a lot of, like, businessmen and such, want it because they can cut costs by using it. Like, if they can have AI, all they need is, like, 1 or 2 people to look over what the AI generates, to double-check it and make sure it's not shit. But by the same token, I feel like, as a society, we might be positioned in a way that we aren't gonna respond well to AI taking jobs, you know? Like, I think LGBT tech bros who are encouraging it, I feel like a lot of the general populace will be like, no, this is awful. So I'll be interested to see how it all goes down. Bluntly put. But I guess we can only wait and see with shit like that, can't we? Right, I think I'll go to 1085. And then call it a day there. Is what I think I'll do. Good stream though. Good stream. I feel like shiny hunts like this are better. Like, I've not done a shiny hunt like this for a while, but I feel like shiny hunts like this are better, because I feel like I can talk more in these. Because I feel like, with breeding and shit, I find myself needing to focus on what's actually going on a little bit more. Like, always taking breaks to, like, count how many eggs I'm getting back and stuff. Like, one thing about Scarlet and Violet I've noticed is, it takes a lot more of your attention to shiny hunt in it. Because in this, I can just, like, do this and reset, and all I have to do is wait for a blip-a-tink. But, like, in Scarlet and Violet, like, I need to actively keep an eye out for the shinies in the wild. I actively need to be, like, looking for shinies. Or counting the eggs that I'm getting to make sure my box isn't getting too full. Shit like that, which is interesting. But yeah, as I've said, I don't think I'm going to continue hunting in Scarlet Violet for much longer, because I want to do some weird hunts. I want to do some weird shiny hunts at some point, I think. Because that sounds like fun to me. But yeah, this will be the last encounter of the stream, so... Shiny lost encounter, oh maybe shiny lost encounter, oh my god, that's blue, that means it's shiny! Anyway. I dare say, that be the end of stream. So thank you all for coming, this has been a good one. I mean, in previous games you can program controllers to do it even. Exactly, exactly, you can make AI do the shiny hunting. Anyway, but yeah, thank you all for coming. This has been a good one. I've enjoyed this one. It's nice to get back into the Regice hunt, and I think I'll probably do a bit more of this. I don't know. I do want to do another shiny roulette because shiny roulettes do well. But I think I'll probably do that after Home is released, because we'll get access to like all the Pokemon then. But yeah, I hope you all had a great time. I certainly have. And I will see you all Wednesday for more of our Pokemon Ultra Moon Nuzlocke. Thanks, man. It was a good chat. Yeah, it was. Thank you for joining me, Rob. But yeah, I hope you all have a great rest of your day, a great rest of your week, and goodbye and good night.